How much would you pay to relive a beautiful day with a loved one that you have lost? What is that worth to you? What is the value of that? My relationship with my mother in my lifetime was stolen. And it continues to be stolen. Today, it continues to be stolen. Our happiness, our health, our cohesiveness, our opportunities get stolen every single day by our undesired affiliation with this, what I view as a racket, maybe. It's okay to speak the truth. I'm not trying to steal your lunch money, bankers. You know, you guys have tons. I'm just trying to have a stable and normal life for me and my family. You know, this American system was highly abusive in my lifetime. Whether it was the schools, the public schools were just indoctrination camps. The healthcare networks. I don't want to blame the individual doctors because I think some of them had good intentions, but I think the apparatus around them made it very corrupt. Pharmaceutical companies, drug dealers on another scale. And why I say drug dealers, because I call, like, medicine is something that heals you. Drugs are something that kind of fuck you up, right? In my view. I mean, you can, whatever. They were highly predatory. The pharmaceutical companies, many of them, were highly predatory just to make shitloads of money and just throw our whole world out of balance. These banks, they weren't fair, and the majority of it, you know, they talk about stuff like insider trading or ex parte communications, or it all has to do with like, or even paying for like a Bloomberg terminal. It's all about information and access to the right information. And so much of the wealth management industry is predicated on purposefully pulling the wool over their own clients' eyes, like not letting them see how life can be, how much easier it can be, how much, that's my view. And I wanted to give Morgan Stanley the benefit of the doubt, like, hey, maybe, you know, I knew RBC was a fraudulent organization. RBC Canada North America was just coming down here, I mean, David McKay said so, they're going down to get capital. I mean, Canada's a market, what, less than 40 million people? America, 370 million? It's much larger, much richer. Like, we make more money than they do per person. You know, like, whatever, who gives a shit about all these numbers? I didn't even want to live my life like this. The point is, my mom was deeply hurt by Dr. Roland Maldonado and various others. I'm not just going to put it on him, but in my view, Dr. Roland Maldonado, he was prescribing her medicines that should not have been prescribed at times that weren't prescribed, that I view as just being very malicious, as someone who has an underlying hate for healthy, cohesive families for his own reasons. And, you know, unfortunately, after my grandfather passed away, I was living in Los Angeles. There was this vacuum of space around my mom, and all these really crappy people surround her. But even before then, like, Fidelity entered our lives when I graduated high school. My college could have been so much easier. Like, my parents, I remember them like arguing, like, there was just so much going on for no reason. And I just don't know how much of that. I really want to see the communication between Fidelity and my grandparents, all of it. Fidelity and my Uncle Mike, Fidelity and my Aunt Glenda. Because I do believe, which is crazy, I thought Fidelity came after Glenda. I was mistaken. Glenda had an account with Fidelity in the last year of her life. What did they do that led up? I mean, there's so many actions that these individuals take, whether it's the financial advisors or their handlers or their management or whatever, that are so arbitrary. And you know, they talk so much nonsense And it's really just a big game, a big circus, and it's so tired for people like me. I'm 38 years old. I don't have the patience for this. My mom is sick. She's still got some of her mind for sure, absolutely, and some of her body for sure, but she is not 20 years old anymore. She's been through the ringer. I love her. I want her to have the best life. I want her to heal and live a long and healthy life. And so when I, present this information of massive fraud to Morgan Stanley, once again, are they acting in our best interest? I said my mom has health problems. So they have these official sounding suits call her up and say, we're going to start taking over your account, blah, blah, blah. That's not the move. So what I'm trying to say is, like, you can make whatever moves you guys want to make, but the future is there. And those who do bad things in the past will be held to account in the future. It's not because I was just doing my job. I want to like Elise. I see she's a beautiful woman. James, handsome, clean cut. I want to like these guys. James has not said one word. I know guys like that, and I'm just saying, I don't know anything about him. Honestly, I can't speak to him. I don't know. And it's coincidence that we met this way. But it had to happen because the industry is really dirty, and it screwed a lot of people in my generation, for sure. There's no way I was the only one. This is just one hustle, and there were many. There's a whole show, American Greed, on CNBC dedicated to this type of shit. My mom's life matters, people. I don't care what office building you work in, what suit, what pedigree, what nothing, okay? What judge what law enforcement, please. Yes, I think there needs to be a federal investigation into Fidelity. For sure. And it's weird. I met Jamie Dimon about 6 months ago, right after the whole false arrest thing with these corrupt police and hurting me and my sister in Bel Air. Just idiotic situation. I met Jamie Dimon, and it was really strange. It was, truth be told, I was surprised to see him when I did. It was right after the Luigi Maggioni United Healthcare situation. And he was walking along the beach, South Beach, no security. Fucking, I don't know if he had a shirt off or not. Very fit guy, not gonna lie. Jamie Dimon, I saw how old he is. He is in incredible shape for his age. He's very sharp. When you speak with him, he's on it. He's gangster. Trust me, he's not like, he's a New York gangster a little bit. And I say that in kind of a very respectful, sort of like exalting kind of way. Like he's a figure. He's cool. I mean, no disrespect to this guy. He's an OG. That being said, when I saw that little packet that I got from Dean Garvin, it said JP Morgan Chase at the bottom was like I guess doing some sort of transactions for them. I don't really understand it. Like someone to explain that to me. But so at the time we were talking, he's like, what do you do? And I was like, I didn't really want to tell him that. Like I'm in the middle of trying to save my family from like a really ridiculous situation brought on by pharmaceutical companies and Fidelity and RBC. And I didn't realize Fidelity and JP Morgan at the time were associated. I know Morgan Stanley has history with JP Morgan. So it's like, at the end of the day, that's why I called it a racket. And excuse me if I used a term that's probably offensive to some people and shocking, but is it not? Objectively? Does that not feel like a racket? I mean, what kind of pissed me off is I've been told so many times that like different things were bought and sold. I saw churning. And then I spoke with Natalie. She seems very sweet. And my mom loves you guys. That's why I want this to work. I want this to work. It's just the email I got from Elise was very concerning. But when Natalie told me that Fidelity S&P 500 mirroring fund or whatever has been around since 2010, that opened up a whole can of what the fuck. Just like when, John McIntyre, I got that email via Eric. It was a whole other can of what the fuck. Since 2010, that much money's been tied up in that? With no conversation? And then, once again, I asked, we're at a new bank, Morgan Stanley. After I've been through hell, my sister went from being a superstar to being very hurt. And we need to help her now, right now. Not to give your legal department work and there's some guy in his pajamas somewhere in his living room jerking off, and then when he's done jerking off, he looks at this case. That's probably what's going on. As ridiculous as that sounds. To wait on an answer on what? And the law enforcement what? I understand that an investigation needs to take place, but everything is always at my family's inconvenience, at my family's expense, at my family's injury. I just want to let people know that. And I want to make it very clear and obvious, if you're not thinking about that, I am. We can work through this. It's very simple. It's just money. Well, it wasn't just money. It was a lot of time. Tommy Pettit died. My first child died. There's a trail of blood attached to this fuck up. So, and Tommy Pettit was a great guy. He could have been saved very easily with just a little bit of normal communication. There is death associated with this. Mike and Glenda. Fidelity for sure. I mean, seeing how we're being treated now, seeing how my mom's being treated now, I told you she has health problems. Psychosomatic, like when people are really frustrated in their head about finances and stuff, and they're already confused. My mom wants to run this election. She's got a lot going on. Any incremental additional burden that you put on her exacerbates her health problems incrementally. You need to cease, stop, fuck the courts, fuck this kingdom, fuck, USA, God bless, but there's a limit where humans say enough is enough. And I've reached that with y'all folks. I've reached it. Stop hurting my family. You're not stupid people. Thank you. God bless us, everyone. And I hope that in the future, people make better decisions and don't hurt other people just so they can make money. Me and my family should always have very level stability. None of this finagling, none of this shenanigans. I want to know the name of every lawyer who's working on this. I want to know the name of every law enforcement official who's working on this. I want their names now. I want to know what they're looking at. Who are they? I want to know their backgrounds. It's only fair. Thank you.